welcome to our home. This is the Lawler home here in Crescent, Texas. God was so good to give us kind of like another fixer-upper, but we love fixer-uppers because then you can get them for a good deal, and God was blessed us so we could do it cash. Our goal is to stay debt-free, and so we had to, the person before us had lots of dogs and kind of spoiled every surface. So we had to take all the chip up the tile, do new carpet.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Tuesday, July 26th. It's 9 o'clock at night. I can't believe I'm still working. Yeah, it's been one of those days. So much. Did y'all enjoy my video on Gypsy Rose Blanchard? That's why I'm kind of late today. I had an interview with the source connected to the family, and so I was on the phone for quite a while for that video. So now I'm getting around to video number 3 for today. And this comes down to some Duggar business moves, which first of all, nothing ever makes sense with the Duggars, but we always know that they're always trying to find tax loops and ways to get around things. But this is some movement I thought was interesting, given some details that I was given right after the conviction of Josh Duggar, because a couple of his brothers have opened up businesses and they appear to be, while affiliated with the Duggar name and the family, new businesses that could potentially not be connected to their dad or to Josh Duggar. And this comes on the heels of one of my sources telling me that once Josh was convicted, there was some concern by his brothers that their assets could be on the line and that they could also have like some of their money seized, or they were concerned about fines, restitution, that kind of thing, liens potentially that could be placed on the Duggars. And because the businesses were all entangled, concern that Josh's shadiness would spill over into their businesses, allegedly. So one of those brothers that was super concerned about their money, I was told allegedly, was Jason Duggar. And a separate Duggar made a decision I think is also equally interesting because the same Duggar works very closely with Jason. So I think two Duggar brothers, brother Duggars, are trying to work around the system, open new businesses to hopefully disconnect themselves a bit from their father or maybe from Josh. And it's weird because this could be a liability issue. It also could be a million different reasons, but you don't frequently see this when it comes to contractors, and this is why I think this is bizarre. A lot of businesses, especially like reputable home builders, keep all of their LLCs under the same business. So if you're a home builder and you are building your brand, you don't frequently change your business name and you don't start a separate business under the same name with a different company. So say that your business is Steelhouse, right? And everyone wants to buy Steelhouse and everyone knows that Steelhouse makes the best Steelhouse. And then one day you decide, I'm going to change the business name. I'm going to open a whole new business and it's going to call Woodhouse. And then so you have Steelhouse and Woodhouse. Why do you need two businesses to do the same thing? Well, if you're a Duggar, you do this a lot, and I don't know why. It could be that there's liability issues, but for Jason Duggar, I'm wondering if there's some concern about some entanglements with his brother Josh. Earlier, I was looking through the Secretary of State, and I noticed one thing interesting is right before Josh was sentenced, in the beginning of May, Joseph Duggar, for the very first time, registers his own business. He has never been a business owner, ever. He has very limited paper trails. He's a realtor and he's a broker. And for some reason, the Duggars have this real estate company called Good Neighbor Realty, but it's not an LLC that's literally registered in the state of Arkansas. It's a brokerage that's registered with the Arkansas real estate agents group. So the people that license real estate agents, they've got their business registered there, but they're not a registered business in the state of Arkansas. So if you go in and you go Good Neighbor Realty, if you were to search that in the Secretary of State and you look up Good Neighbor Realty, it's not their business. And there is nothing. There's a Good Neighbor Realty and Properties LLC, which is out of Bentonville, but that's not the company that they're connected to. So it's bizarre because there's no Good Neighbor Realty. Okay. Which I always thought was weird. Like, how do you have this real estate company, but you don't actually have like an LLC around it? Well, suddenly, Joseph Duggar, on 2 weeks before Josh Duggar is sentenced, he opens Duggar Realty. Now, if anyone knows anything about the Duggars, Good Neighbor Realty was actually the name of Mary Duggar's real estate agency. But now Joseph Duggar has opened his own real estate agency, which is not registered with the real estate people in the state of Arkansas. So he opened a corporation called Duggar Realty. But when you go to which is the Real Estate Commission, and you look under Duggar, right? So it's the Arkansas Real Estate Commission. Joseph is actually registered under Good Neighbor Realty, and he's listed as a broker, okay? Good Neighbor Realty has 3 people that are a part of it: James Duggar, Jeremiah Duggar, and Joseph Duggar. Now, interestingly, in 2020, Michelle Duggar falsely represented herself as a real estate agent. She is not an agent. She has not ever been licensed as a real estate agent. She's definitely not an agent. So Joseph, Jeremiah, and James, okay? So when I go to new agent search, I can actually look up a firm. And so I can look up Duggar Realty. It doesn't exist. So he's opened a business called Duggar Realty, but on the Arkansas Real Estate Commission, he's under Good Neighbor Realty, and his brokerage license is under Good Neighbor Realty, but his business is Duggar Realty. I hope he's not trying to pull a fast one on the state. Either way, is Joseph going to try to bypass James Duggar by opening his own real estate company? Jim Bob Duggar is a licensed real estate agent, though he does not do a lot of sales. I should note that he doesn't have any current listings. He hasn't had listings in a long time. In fact, the only one of the brothers that actually does any sales for the most part is Joseph. And Joseph, do you know whose properties he sells? Jason Duggar's. Which brings me on to number 2. So you have Joseph, who's been involved in business with his dad for a very long time, suddenly, weeks before Josh's sentencing, is disengaging from his dad's real estate company, which was his grandmother's, and he starts his own real estate company, which is not yet registered with the Arkansas Real Estate Commission. Got it? Okay. Now, Mr. Jason Duggar does something kind of weird too. And I'm only bringing this up because I feel like some of these boys are trying to disengage or bypass or roundabout so that their money doesn't look like it's tied to their dad. Okay. So Jason Duggar's decision is incredibly questionable given what just happened. So Jason has 2 businesses. He has Build Master Construction LLC, and then he has Brixton Contractors LLC. Why do you need 2 separate businesses? By golly, they're basically the same thing. So in a construction company, you have to be licensed, which, by the way, Build Master Construction is licensed. They have a building license. I believe it's for commercial real estate, and it's actually, they just renewed it, and it's good through the end of 2023. Now, Brixton Contractors is a brand new company that he just formed last week. And this was created 2 weeks after that tax lien was placed on the property of his parents, which is weird because Jason lists the principal address of this business as his parents' address. Oh boy, oh boy. Now, Jason's business, Brixton Contractors, which I've not been able to locate any properties that this owns. And the very weird thing about all of these businesses that they own, no websites. You cannot find a website for Duggar Realty anywhere. If you were to go to Buildmaster Construction and wanted to find out, like, how do I get someone to build a house for me from Buildmaster Construction, there is nothing. They have a web page, they have a Facebook page, but they have no website. There's no way for you to hire them. So it's like they're doing really, like, they're building things under names, but they don't run businesses, which is a very bizarre way if you're a business owner, right? So I can only go off of my own experience because I bought a house. No, I built a house. And when I built my house, I hired a builder. Wonderful builder, by the way. I'm not going to disclose who built this house, simply because I don't want y'all doxing her. But amazing builder, beautiful website. On the website, I could search which houses that they built. I could look at all of their plans. I knew how much prices were per square footage. I could see what developments they were building in. I could modify plans. I could do a lot of different things on their website. Nothing exists like that for Jason Duggar. Nothing. So if you're going to buy a house from him, you're not hiring him through a website. You're not hiring him. And his Facebook page offers next to no way of knowing what he does, right? So they're literally building houses without websites in a development that's in a senior living development. So they could have like a contract with this developer, but it's an odd way to do business as a builder. Most home builders have a website. Most real estate agents have a website. Joseph Duggar does not have a website. Jason Duggar does not have a website. They're doing business. Joseph is selling property and Jason is building houses, but they're not actively promoting these businesses. It's such a weird way to do business in 2022. I've never seen any companies work this way. And maybe they don't want to broadcast that it's the Duggars that are doing business. But again, it makes no sense. If you are a reputable company, you have a website. If you're a reputable company and you're a reputable builder, you have a website, you have all kinds of information on your website, none of that. So Jason opens Brixton Contractors 2 weeks after the lien is slapped on his dad's property and following Josh's sentencing. Joseph Duggar opens a brand new real estate company 2 weeks before sentencing. To me, this seems like the brothers are trying to avoid the connections that they have by opening separate businesses in their names that are not affiliated with dad. So Jason's business that he set up, which was Buildmaster Construction, he set up when he was just 18 years old. And the way that I understand is that due to his age at the time, it's highly likely that his father was probably part of that business being created, because the state of Arkansas, you have to be 18 to start an LLC, but it's usually you'll have an adult on there with you, and bank accounts and business accounts and checking accounts typically require for businesses that the way that this Duggar friend was saying is that it's highly likely that Jim Bob was helping him with these things. Jason looked like he was moving away from his dad because he took out a UCC loan earlier this spring too. So my assumption here is that Jason might be moving Buildmaster Construction to Brixton Contractors in the event that he wants to disentangle from his dad. Same with Joseph, moving from Good Neighbor Realty to Duggar Realty. The first and foremost thing is, like, you guys, you're qualified to have a website. You could be doing probably a lot more business if you actually had a website. They're not building a lot of houses. They're not selling a lot of homes. Joseph is not selling tons of homes a year. He's not even selling like 10 homes a month. This is not a lucrative business for him. So again, what are they doing all day? That's the question. So Joseph and Jason are opening businesses, and it's all disentangling from the Duggars and Josh. My next question is, I wonder if Josh was on any of the paperwork with either one of these guys before. And I wonder if they're trying to avoid any sort of like, I wonder if there's concern by them that the IRS could be looking. Hey, IRS, why aren't you looking at all of these businesses? And if a business doesn't have a website, that's a sign that it could be a shell company. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.